Hello and welcome to Talk to Downtown. My name is Courtney Wood. I'm the Economic Development Director for the Downtown Stockton Alliance, the 501c6 nonprofit property-based business improvement district serving downtown Stockton. This webinar series is intended to connect our business owners, property owners, visitors, and residents with the organizations, people, and resources who can help address issues which are of top concern to them. Today we have Amy Alpers. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications with Visit Stockton. I'm very excited to talk to her today. She has a lot to share. We're going to start with Amy sharing a little bit about herself and her role at Visit Stockton. Then I will go ahead and ask her a list of questions that I've outlined for her. And at the end, we will open it up for viewer questions. So if you do have a question, please type it in as a comment and we'll get to it towards the end of the live. So welcome, Amy. Very happy to have you. Yeah. Please share a little bit about yourself and your role over there at Visit Stockton.
Hi, yes. So my name is Amy Alpers, formerly Amy Rakovich, and I have been with Visit Stockton as the Director of Marketing and Communications I just had my 2-year anniversary. And prior to that, so I am the classic boomerang. I grew up in Stockton. I grew up on the east side of town and went to high school at St. Mary's. And when I graduated, I went to Boise State in Idaho. So I left in 2007, and during that time, I got an undergrad degree in visual arts. I got a master's in public administration and nonprofit management. And I worked for 8 years at Visit Idaho, which is the state DMO, which stands for Destination Marketing Organization, and met our director, Visit Stockton West, along the way, and eventually returned to Stockton to come take this opportunity. Moved my husband here for it's his first time living in Stockton. He originally grew up in LA, and it's been really cool. It's been awesome to be back to take the skills that I had working for a state DMO in a place that's very different than Stockton, and being able to kind of put some of those skills to play, some of the best practices and whatnot, and just been running with it. So really what we do at Visit Stockton, like I alluded to, we're the destination marketing organization. It's our goal to market the city as a place where visitors want to come, spend night in hotels, tell people about things to do, and highlight, all the cool uniquenesses of Stockton to visitors and residents alike.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back and bringing all of those skills here to your hometown. And thanks for sharing a little bit about the goal of Visit Stockton and kind of the purpose behind your organization. It's attracting visitors to visit our wonderful town. So I have a question. What kind of support does your organization currently offer for local businesses?
Yeah, so we host the largest event calendar in the city, so that's a really big opportunity for a lot of small businesses. If you're having a ribbon cutting, we have a community calendar you can add that event to. If you are a small events organization and you're hosting like Earth Day, for example, which is coming up, we have a great network that we distribute this list to, and a ton of website visitation that helps highlight those events. We also have a huge business directory that has all sorts of businesses. We really opened that up during COVID to include a lot more diverse offerings. So traditionally it was a lot of like visitor focused entities, but we really, everyone had to do a lot of shifting during the 2020, 2021 years. And so there's all sorts of different businesses that are listed on there. And we put out an events newsletter every week that highlights all the different things happening. We have a really robust blog program that highlights all sorts of businesses and events and just all sorts of cool stuff. And we've also been a big part in Small Business Week that the city puts on. So we've helped kind of develop that program and to highlight different, opportunities and educational classes and things like that for small businesses in town. So
great. So you're really supporting the small businesses here. For anyone who wants to make sure their business is like in your directory or that one of their events is listed in your calendar, how can they do that?
Yeah, so be sure to visit visitstockton.org. There's a search bar, search the name of your business, see if it's up there. If it's not up there, you can email Krista in our office. It's Krista@visitstockton.org, and she's the one who gets all those business listings updated on the website. And for events, if you go to our events calendar, there's a little widget at the top that says add your event, and then you can either select to add it to the community calendar or the general events calendar.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing that information. Yeah, so any businesses listening or any people who are hosting events downtown, go ahead and use the website to make sure that everyone can see what you're doing. So I know that you guys recently held a tourism breakfast. I
Yes.
believe it was the 10th annual.
Yes.
You can correct
Annual.
me.
Nope, you got
So
it. Who's to say? No one's going to know.
I
Yeah.
know. So, what can you tell us about tourism to Stockton in the
Yeah.
last couple of years, and even to downtown specifically?
Yeah, totally. So I have some really interesting numbers to share with you.
Great.
Couldn't memorize all these, but we as a DMO have access to a lot of really cool data sources. So we partner with like Visit California on the state level, and that allows us to pool to kind of see comparisons from Stockton compared to other regions and other cities in the state to see like how our recovery's been going, because that's all everything's been, right? The past couple of years is all on recovery. So we have a lot of really cool recovery numbers. They also give us access to this really great data source called Dean Running and Associates, and it basically tells us what our direct travel impact has been, meaning like how much money is actually coming into Stockton, like from tourism related businesses, entities, et cetera. So in 2022, there was $241 million worth of direct travel spending that came into the city of Stockton. And that was supported by 2,200 jobs that were tourism related. And that was a 17.6 million tax benefit generated by direct travel spending. And direct travel spending is like eating at restaurants, local transportation and gas, retail sales, accommodations, arts and entertainment, et cetera. So people always want to know, like, oh, what does promoting Stockton, like, what good is it for me as a citizen or whatever? It's like, think of the tax relief you are receiving as a citizen, because we are helping to bring in $17.6 million worth of, tax relief to the area. So, which is really cool. Another fun number to look at is there was $75 million dollars generated in hotel overnight stays. So our office is funded off of a hotel lodging tax. So if it's not a tax paid by citizens unless you're staying in a hotel, but for visitors who come in, they are taxed an additional tax that then filters through the city and comes to us, and that helps us do all the promotions that we're doing. So overall, we're of course up from our 2020 numbers. We did see a bit of a dip though in our hotel occupancy compared to 2021. We're all still trying to navigate what that really means. There was a lot of in-state travel that happened in 2021. But of course, the 2021 number was higher than 2020, but nothing as compared to 2019 quite yet. So we're all just trying to figure out what that means. Another really interesting thing about Stockton in general, another data source we have is through this group called Placer AI, and we're tracking foot traffic, which is scary, but it's all based on your cell phone. So if we can ping your cell phone in certain areas, we can track this information. So 60% of people who visit San Joaquin County are also coming to Stockton. So that means we're like the highest visited city in the county. We also have the largest dwell time. So dwell time meaning visitors. So this information is based on people who are visiting from 30 miles outside of Stockton and who are here for over 30 minutes. So we had the longest dwell time compared to, I think it was Manteca, Lodi, and Tracy. So when people are coming into the county, 60% of them are coming to Stockton, and they're staying longer than they're staying in other areas. So it's good information to know. It just kind of gives us a general idea of what our visitors look like, and it shows us the potential of like where to reach these folks. And then I pulled some downtown numbers for you specifically,
Thank
Courtney,
you.
so you could be part of the party.
Yes.
And so I pulled the 2020 or 2019 versus 22, because 2019 is like the last year that we actually had to look at right before COVID. So visitation to downtown is down compared to 2019 in the year of 22. But again, 22 is still absolutely a recovery year. However, in 2020, we are up overall 42% compared to the year prior. So compared to 21. So like, and that is the discrepancy of travelers that were coming in from, it's not like
Yeah.
we just had one bad year and we had to recover from it. We went,
No,
everything went like 50% down from, the COVID years. And so being able to say that last year you were up 42% is really impressive. So I love
that's
that.
exciting.
Something else I noticed looking at this information, and I'm not an economist. I do my best to interpret the data. So do as you will. I'm also happy to share this information. If anyone is interested, I can export this
Definitely.
report.
Yeah.
You can see in my graph that May of last year had the highest visit trends over any other month during the course of the year. In May, for downtown Stockton, was really busy, right? We had Flavorfest, we had
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, et cetera. So it just really goes to show that our city is driven by events. We are not a super attraction rich community. We talk about this all the time in the industry, like comparing Stockton to other cities. So, for example, I was in Boise, Idaho, which was 200,000 people. We had an opera, we had a robust, off Broadway theater program. You have all these big things, a dedicated, multiple art museums, et cetera. But there was nothing else. That's a capital city. There's nothing else,
Mm.
within 200 miles, 500 miles, or, that could really compare to it. And in Stockton, you can go 45 miles north and be in Sacramento and have their whole robust traveler scene. You can go 60 miles east and be in the Bay Area. So Stockton really is trying to find like its footing in what we can provide to visitors, and events are really that. So it's, at least in my interpretation. So that's why we focus so heavily on this events newsletter. We have the events listings on the website. So the math is mathing, and it says that downtown loves events. So that's a big visitation trend. And I think that's probably some good downtown numbers for you. And again, I'm happy to share this. If anyone is interested, you can let Courtney or myself know and we can dig into it more.
Thanks, Amy, for bringing those numbers. And I think it kind of highlights how Flavorfest was a success, the first
Yes.
one,
Oh my gosh.
And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a second, but that's very interesting to know. Thanks for pulling those.
Of course.
Is there anything else that you think people might just be shocked or surprised to know about tourism in Stockton in general?
So I think when people think tourists, they assume people got on a plane and came to visit somewhere, because we're all so used to doing that, right? Or getting in the car and driving 5 miles. Most of the visitors to Stockton, and when I say visitors, like especially when I'm talking about this last data set I was referring to, we're not accounting for your home location or your work location. So we're able to understand that it's not just someone like myself who lives just outside of downtown. I'm not counted as a visitor when I come downtown, because it knows that it's my work, right? It can tell by the length of time that I'm somewhere between these certain hours that I am working. If I'm there for more than 4 hours, it assumes that it's work or what have you. But a lot of the visitation is happening within 30 miles of Stockton. So the market, Tracy, Manteca, Lodi, like Sacramento is a huge visitation market for us. We have more people visiting from Sacramento to Stockton than we do from Lodi.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. And they're so much closer, but it just depends on where we're spending our marketing dollars, et cetera. And we have the benefit of having such a huge population all around us, like millions of people within 30 miles of Stockton, it's a low hanging fruit, I guess, if you will. So it's just interesting to think about, because I think often with these DMOs, like I was mentioning, you think you're trying to go market, we should be in Seattle and promoting Stockton or what have you. It's like, well, we have a bunch of people right in our general
nearby
area we can market to and have them come to downtown to go to the movies, go to the park, go to an event, et cetera. So I think people often overlook that, and that's a really important thing for us. So we're not just here trying to promote things for visitors. We are here trying to promote things for the citizens to do, for our neighbors to do, and just to kind of boost this overall like fuller picture of what Stockton is.
Right. Kind of appeal to other citizens of California. We've got a lot here. Come to Stockton. So you guys have been very busy over there at Visit Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, like, what in the last year are you most proud of? What's an accomplishment that you're like, wow, like this was amazing. We did it.
Oh my gosh. I know I feel like I talk about Flavorfest all the time, but Flavorfest was really something. So that was hosted last May 14th and 15th of 22, its first year. And that was something that we started, honestly, we really started putting it together like at the beginning of last year too. It all happened really quickly. That we had the opportunity to help put on this festival, and it was huge. It's now the biggest event that was held. It's one of the biggest event that's been held downtown in ages,
Huge.
since
Yeah,
when the Asparagus Festival was down here.
exactly.
And it was such a labor of love putting it together. We actually won an award last September from the International Festival and Events Association as the best new festival. And this awards program was open to, there was groups in Spain winning awards
Wow.
for different things, and our festival went up against it, and we won. So best new festival in the
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the awardee year was open from 2019 into 2020. So it was 3 years worth of
Oh my
events that were
gosh.
submitted. And it was pretty cool. So we won the top award for that. So we now get to say we're international award winners, which was really cool. But that festival was really a reflection of just the people and the creatives and just all the like resilience that this city has. That, we had, gosh, I think we had like 40 food vendors last year. We had all sorts of different musical acts. And we just really wanted to reflect the faces and the cultures and the tastes of our region in one spot. Like when we were first conceptualizing this idea, Wes and I talked about it, and I was telling him, unlike other places in the world, you could literally eat around the world in Stockton.
It's
Like
true.
you could do an international food tour just walking around downtown Stockton and like try a little bit of everything. Like it's not like that everywhere. And that is so cool. And then we got to do it, and it was like a huge success. So we were very proud of that. And another thing we were super stoked about was we had, for the first time, an inaugural golf tournament that we hosted that helps support the Stockton Sports Commission, which is a fund to help bring, it's like an attraction fund to help bring like other sporting events, collegiate, professional, youth, whatever, to town. So to have people come, fly in or drive in and stay for a couple days and have these competitions. So that was a really cool revenue generator. And that was, anytime you put on something new, it's a big deal. So we had two really big new things that happened last year, and we were super proud of those.
Excellent. Happy to hear it. And I know Flavorfest was really awesome as an attendee. It was really
Thanks.
fun, to try all the food, hear the
Yes.
music. So, since Flavorfest is coming up again, can you tell us what we can expect this year?
Yeah. So, unlike last year, we will have a Friday added on to Flavorfest this year,
Cool.
which we're very excited about, not just for us as organizers. So we kind of get a day to ease into the madness of hosting an event, because Saturdays are wild. So opening the gates on a Saturday and no one's at work, you don't have any kind of slow buildup. So Friday will be great for us. We're going to have a little, get everything just like a smooth entry. But you're going to expect some of the hits from last year. So tons of live music. We're going to have even more. We're kind of promoting it as a second stage this year.
Nice.
We call it the back porch. It's attached to our 21 and over craft beverage tent. And there's going to be 4 or 5 different musical acts a day performing there. We're also going to be doing a $5 Friday for Fridays. So it's $5 entry, and it's going to be happy hour all day
Oh,
on
wow.
alcoholic beverages. Yes. So it'll be a very fun day. We're also in the works of planning like a mini beer festival that day in our craft beverage tent, which will be really fun. We're going to have our kitchen demonstration tent back again, which is generously sponsored by our friends at the Kitchen at Stonebriar, which is really cool. So they're going to have all sorts of different, like a sushi making workshop. I know we're doing a different like spring tasting / wine pairing combo from the Kitchen at Stonebriar in there. We have 20 different cultural performances happening at the front gate. So
Awesome.
ballet folklorico. I know we have Polynesian dancers, all sorts of things. And those just kind of like pop up and happen sporadically, which is really fun. And some of them are going to, move around the festival grounds and do some cool things. Another strolling act that we have is going to be really fun. They're called the Drumheads. We saw them at an event. They're kind of like, I was trying to describe it to Wes. I was like, it's almost like Marshmallow or like a DJ, like a rave DJ for kids. They wear these like crazy drum heads, and
Oh,
you ever listen to Sum 41? Do you remember that band from
yes.
back in the day? So it's like their drummer and his friend. This is like their later in life plan where they travel around
Oh,
as this group and do these performances and they engage with the kids and stuff. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, so we just got a lot going on. So, and we're really encouraging people this year too to buy like 3 days worth of passes. Like you could come
awesome.
one day, but we have different music, different art workshops, different kitchen demonstrations every single day. So just wear comfortable shoes and drink lots of water and try to keep it together for 3 days. And it's just going to be awesome. We're super excited. The venue's beautiful. We love being down at Web Point Events.
Yes.
And it'll be great. So yeah, you'll see
Thank
us running
you.
around sweating and yeah, tell us what's up.
Say hi, Amy.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
you're busy. So, what dates is the Flavorfest going to be this year?
Yes, it's May 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Awesome. Can
Mhm.
people buy their tickets now?
They can. So tickets are at tickets.visitstockton.com, or you can go to stocktonflavorfest.com. We have all the musical lineups on there. We're finalizing all the vendors on there, the food vendors and whatnot. So you can check that out. And our Stockton Flavorfest Instagram page has a lot of good information too, just if you want to start peeking at the vendors and making a game plan for what you're going to do. So,
Got to check it out. I know I'll be there at least one of the days.
yeah.
So, as far as impact, you're kind of sharing a little bit about tourism numbers from last May.
Yeah.
But what kind of impact do you hope that Flavorfest will have this year on our community?
Yeah, totally. So we had about we had like 13,500 people in attendance last year at Flavorfest, which
Awesome.
honestly, for a first time event, is awesome.
Yeah.
We have the benefit this year of not having convinced people, like tell people, I swear we're gonna have a cool festival. You know, we have no
It's going to be
pictures
really
to show
big.
for it. We have no video. We had to use like stock images and stock video to try to like promote this thing last year. It's so crazy when you start from nothing, you know? So now we just have all this like really robust marketing footage and collateral that we actually, and like numbers to show like, come, it's going to be fun. We have testimonials, etc. So now with our third day, we're really hoping to see around 20,000 people in attendance. We know we can handle that at the venue. So that's the goal. And that seems reasonable, you know, for if having 13.5 last year, 20 seems totally reasonable. And I would love to see, because I'll be able to tell with the data, I would love to see people coming more than one day. I think it'll be really cool. I do it. I go to festivals all the time. You just got to drink a lot of water and put on your sunscreen and come spend some fun time in downtown with us.
Awesome. And as far as vendors go, so I know you might be, close to booked as far as
Mhm.
vendors are concerned, but if there are any businesses watching or artists listening, what can they do if they're interested in possibly participating as a vendor?
Yeah, totally. We are almost filled on vendor spots, which is crazy. We didn't expand the footprint, but we didn't necessarily use all the spaces in the park last year because we had to, start realistically and see what we can pull off. But we've expanded more into the north side of the park and whatnot. So we've added over like 30 vendors this year.
Wow.
And they're almost full. I do know we need a few more arts, like and crafts vendors. And you can find the application at stocktonflavorfest.com/vendors. And if not, if you are a food vendor and you're still interested, our wait list is open because you never know, someone might have to drop out last minute or whatever. And we try really hard to be conscious about, not having like 8 Filipino lumpia vendors or whatever, we try
Gotcha.
to fill. So even if you feel like, oh, there's a lot of something that you already have, we try to be strategic and make sure everyone gets, visited the same amount. So be sure to just get added to the wait list. And then we'll then have your information for next year to be able to send you the application when it comes out and whatnot too. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And we are full on music this year. We had a lot of
Good.
people apply for music stuff, so I don't have the opportunity for that. You could still fill out the form, and then we'll have your info for next year. But we filled that out pretty quickly, that's a pretty fun gig. Trying to listen to all the bands and stuff, and kind of deciding who's gonna come perform. It's really cool. So
That does sound so fun.
yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, so Flavor Fest is awesome. Anyone who didn't go last year, I highly suggest that you do attend Flavor Fest this year, coming up in May. So thanks so much, Amy. Good luck with that event.
Yes,
Very
thank you. I have
exciting.
one other shameless plug about that too. We are still looking for a couple community sponsors for different areas throughout the festival. So if you are interested, you can reach out to me. I'm Amy at visitstockton.org, and we'd love to get you integrated into the largest festival happening in downtown Stockton. So it's a good way to show that you support the diversity and cultures and fun of Stockton. So let me know.
Please do.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now let's talk a little bit about another event that's downtown. So you have Feast at the Fox also
Yes.
coming up next month. Tell us
Yes.
a
Oh my
little
gosh.
bit about that.
Yes, so the first week of May. So I believe we always host it the first Friday of May. Feast at the Fox is it's like 176 person dinner that we host. It is in support of the Delta College Culinary Arts Program, and we work with the staff and the students at Delta to curate a focused, locally sourced, like 5-course dinner menu. And so it gives the students at Delta this really great, like real world experience opportunity right before the end of their graduation, to come in and just participate in a huge catered event. It's super fun. We shut down the street in front of the Bob Hope Theater. So we have these like awesome marquee lights from the Bob Hope that illuminate the night. We have local wine, local beer, and we just kind of talk through the courses about like where the food's coming from, where it was sourced. So, I mean, obviously, us being such a diverse agricultural area, this is a really fun way for us to highlight like what that means, like in turn. And yeah, it's a super cool event. It unfortunately is sold out for this year, but you just got to be on it quick. So if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, we'll always post about it before the tickets go on sale, but we sold them out in like 2 days. This year it was crazy. And yeah, it's a really cool event. So if you're downtown, you should come walk by and peek your head around the corner and check it out that night, just so you can see how cool it is. So
It's beautiful. Yeah,
very cool
really
event.
beautiful. The way that it's set up with the long
Thank you.
table right there in front of the Bob Hope. It's an awesome event. So, okay, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about Feast at the Fox. If you didn't catch a ticket this year, hopefully you can catch one next year. Got to get it early. And what
Just
other
like getting
events?
Adele
Oh,
tickets or something like that. It's
just
the
get
same vibe. Yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Now. So, what other events do you guys have coming up, either downtown or just throughout Stockton?
Yeah. So another event happening in May, as if our May wasn't crazy enough. But our office, so my side of the office is the marketing communications kind of internal event stuff. And then we have the other side of the org chart, which is ran by our sports development and tourism director, Rebecca Sharman. And we are helping host the NCAA Division One Women's Water Polo Championship, which
Ooh,
is
awesome.
awesome. So this is a national event, and it's being hosted at the pool at UOP. And right now we're basically just like hoping that women's UOP is in the tournament, which would be so awesome. So then we would just have this like built-in homegrown support for the team in the competition. I think those teams, they should be announced soon, I believe, middle of April. Rebecca, if you're listening, text me and let me know when the teams are announced. But so that'll be a really cool event, even if UOP is not in it. It's a great way to come. Division One sports is a huge deal, like anywhere. So to have all these like awesome women in town, like strutting their stuff and competing is really cool. So that'll be a really fun event. So that's May 12th through 14th, and you can get tickets at. I found it right here. Hold on. It's at ncAAtickets.com. Yeah. And then we are also hosting our Sports City Golf Tourney event again this year. I believe it's at Brookside Country Club. It's going to be in October. It's a very fun event. It's a Monday. You get to say you're golfing for work and, come and have a day with us and learn about tourism and support youth, collegiate, and professional sports development in town, which is a huge economic driver for us. So that'll be really fun. And then that's kind of the big ones in terms of events that we're supporting this year. Oh, and the OTB Open. So OTB Disc, Stockton's kind of like staked its claim in the disc golf world, thanks to OTB Disc and Swenson Golf Course, and hosting this really cool national competition, which also happens in May. So that'll be happening the weekend before and the weekend of Flavorfest. There's 2 weekends of that as well. So May is going to be really crazy, and it's going to be very fun. If you call us and we sound a little burnt out, you'll know why. But it's going to be a really good month. And yeah. And then we'll just keep promoting all the fun stuff that's happening this summer through our website and everything else. So lots happening in Stockton.
Very busy for downtown and beyond.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So I know also recently Visit Stockton launched a new podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the vision behind the podcast and some of the types of guests that you've been having on?
Yeah, totally. So when we first talked about starting a podcast, we decided that based on the kind of visitors that come to the city, and we know that a lot of people, right, that are coming around are people just from, especially like downtown or whatever, there are other people from around Stockton. And I'm nosy. I love all the Facebook pages that are like Stockton history or memories of Stockton and all that kind of stuff. And I was following that stuff when I was in Idaho. I just, when you grow up somewhere, you're just interested in all those kinds of things. And Wes and I, our CEO, were chatting, and we were just like, I would love to talk more about these things. Like we don't, unfortunately in Stockton, we don't have like a huge local news base. Like most of our media is coming out of Sacramento. So we were like, why don't we be the local media, just spread some good and some education about things happening here. And so as we're formulating these ideas, we kind of came up with our tagline of like sharing the happenings, the people and places of Stockton. So it's just kind of like the funky places you walk around and you see. Like I go on walks during my lunch, and I walked by the Golden Rose barbershop, I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever. And I was like, this place is awesome. And then I kind of peek in and I was like, oh, these guys look cool. And it's like, hey, you want to be on a podcast? And then we learn all about it, like Steven and his like really cool background and why he wanted to open this barbershop and how that's the longest continuous like business of downtown Stockton. It's been a barbershop for over 100 years, which is amazing. And just really cool stuff like that. Like if there was ever like a bar trivia on Stockton and you listen to the This Is Stockton podcast, you'd be in a really good zone. And then so Wes and I do the interviewing, and we pick a guest who just is interesting, someone that we think has an interesting Stockton story. I'd say some of our most popular episodes are people who own a small business or somewhere where our listeners can like go engage with that person after. And then my coworker, Anthony, he's kind of our resident pop culture guy. He does a lot of research every episode, and he comes up with a pop culture segment that has something to do with the episode. So for example, we did an interview with Pacific Athletics. So then he did research and found information about like all these like sports greats that have come from Stockton over the years, or, the history of like why Weber Point is Weber Point and who is Captain Weber and things like that when we talk about an event happening at Weber Point Event Center. So anyways, it's called This Is Stockton. It comes out twice a month, the first and third Thursday of the month. Our most recent episode was with Brandon Leak, who many know as the America's Got Talent winner, who is from Stockton. He is a slam poetry artist. And he's amazing. He is just like super inspirational. And that's the kind of stuff we want to highlight, like we want to talk about the people.
Good things.
Like Brandon Leak could have gone and decided to pursue his professional career in LA, in New York, whatever. And he is still pursuing it in Stockton and doing all these cool things. And we have this person in town who is just like highlighting the creatives and the diversity in town. And we want to help spread that. So that's what the This Is Stockton podcast is about. You can find it, thisisstockton.com. Or our Instagram page at This Is Stockton Podcast, and all of the episodes are listed there. Or you can search it on Spotify, Apple Music, and all those things. So we started last August, so we're not so new anymore. We're almost a year in, which is crazy, but it's very fun. It's like doing this, but you just do it. It's cool. It's a really fun project. I'm glad we have it.
Yeah, it's like an insider view of Stockton and the people here. So definitely check out the podcast if you haven't already. Okay, so next I'd like to talk about a new campaign that your office launched regarding the Fantastic Four and Marvel. Can you tell us a little bit about that campaign?
Yes, so that campaign started because I took this job in March of 2021. And I was still living in Idaho, so I had to, move and do all that. So I flew down here, I think in April or May to come like meet the people on the team in real life and stuff. And there was this poster hanging in our office that obviously looked like vintage-esque from the 80s. And it showed a picture of California and a star around Stockton and a little illustration of the Fantastic Four. And it said, I here on October 20, whatever the date was, declare Stockton, California as the birthplace of the Fantastic Four. And it was signed by Stan Lee. I was like, what the heck is this? And everyone was like, wow. Wes, explained to me that there was this big campaign by Joe Field and Al Greco. And Al Greco is still the owner operator of Al's Comics down on the Miracle Mile. That's a really cool Stockton staple. Everyone should go say what's up to Al. They started this campaign to have Stan Lee come to Stockton in the 80s. So Al got like all these signatures on a petition. They like phone checked his list of people who signed it to make sure they were actual Marvel fans.
Real people.
Stan Lee decided he was going to come to Stockton to do this, autograph meet and greet thing at Al's Comics, which was really cool. And then Joe Field, who at the time worked for a radio station, he was just like, he used to shop at Al's Comics. He was a big comic book guy himself. He was like, well, shoot, if Stan Lee's coming out here, let's make something happen. So the origin story of the Fantastic Four was that they were based in a town called Central City, which is a made up city, but it was loosely based on the idea of like Central California. And then other superheroes in the Marvel universe are from New York City or Oakland or what have you, San Francisco. So they all have like actual cities that they're from. And so Joe's idea was, well, we should get Stan Lee to like petition for Stockton to be the birthplace of the Fantastic Four. And they did it. It was this, Joe was working with the city council and had them proclaim it. Stan Lee was on the steps of City Hall and shaking hands and kissing babies and stuff. So that all happened 80s, right? I see this poster about it 2 years ago and I was like, that's cool. I had Anthony, pop culture guy from the podcast, who is also our content and social media manager. And he's a huge like wrestling superhero Marvel guy.
Oh, wow.
Like, lover of anything pop culture. I was like, we should write a blog about this, like for the website, because it's interesting. I didn't know anything about it. It's this,
Yeah.
So really, there's no formal way to you can't just sign a petition and Marvel's going to be like, all right, Stockton, we're going to come film there. It doesn't work like that. So we're just trying to make a splash on social media. We are tagging all the filmmakers. We are having this petition signed. We have 5,500 signatures on the petition now. It's still live at Fantastic, the number 4 Stockton. So fantastic4stockton.com. Are collecting the signatures. We are posting updates on the petition about the different media coverage and whatnot that we've received. And we're just really hopeful, even if nothing happens of this. It has been such a fun, positive, like lighthearted, morale boosting, community engagement campaign. And we knew that from the start, like what is bad about being the birthplace of the Fantastic Four? You know what I mean? So it's just been a really fun way. Like if you're feeling anytime soon, if you go onto the petition page and look at the comments that people have written, like to support the campaign, people are like, I love Stockton. Like, I'm so excited that this could be a possibility. Like, Stockton's beautiful. I love the people, like just all these positive, super nice things on our Facebook comments, on our Instagram comments, on this petition. Like, we don't often get all this positive something that we put out, So we're just trying, again, it's this whole ethos of trying to put out the good news that's also happening in a community, and bring a fuller picture of what Stockton is about. And we're hopeful that someone will hear us. So, if any of you listening have any contacts with people down in Southern California, or you have huge social followings and you want to help us out, we have a ton of images. We have a media kit. You can go on our Instagram. Instagram's probably the easiest way to share stuff, or Facebook, and sign the petition, share the link to the petition, just kind of get people excited about it. We would just love to see what this thing's going to do. So that came out on the day of the tourism breakfast, so the middle of March. So we're we're almost 4 weeks in, which has been wild. And it's been really cool. We just had, Josh Harder just got involved and
Oh, wow.
share video. So now we got DC involved in the campaign, which is cool. Mayor Kevin Lincoln was part of our original push. We video down at Al's Comics to talk about everything, the history of the campaign and what we're hoping to do. So we'll see how it goes. It's very exciting, though. It's been like probably the most exciting thing outside of Flavorfest. Well, because that hasn't happened yet this year. This year, the Fantastic Four campaign has been the most exciting thing we've done so far, for sure. It's been really cool.
And where are you guys now as far as signatures go? How many do you have?
We have 5,500. So we could, and I mean, there's a lot of people in Stockton, so we could be getting a lot more signatures. Free to sign, doesn't cost anything or anything crazy. So all you have to do is put in your name and your email address. So love to see some more. So fantastic. The number 4 Stockton.com take you to the petition page.
Thank you. And it looks like we have also the QR code for the page up here. So if you're watching on your computer, you can use your phone to, check the QR code and sign up right there. So sign the petition. Awesome. Let's get eyes on our community. At least some recognition from Marvel would be awesome. Yes.
Yep. To honor Stan Lee. That's what we've been saying. That's what he wanted. So we hope Marvel upholds his wishes.
Excellent. All right. It's pretty exciting with that campaign. So now I want to ask you a few questions, sure. More tailored to you, your work experience at Visit Stockton. So what do you love about working for Visit Stockton?
Oh, man. I will say when I left in 2007, so I was 17 when I moved out of Stockton, it was never really on my radar that I was coming back to Stockton. I definitely thought I would be in Idaho forever. Or thought I was going to, I don't know, do whatever. Because I came to Stockton a lot still. My whole family's here and everything else. And then as my husband and I talked about it when the opportunity came up to take this job and move back, I was just like, there's something obviously drawing me to go back there and to like be a part of this. I don't know. I've seen a lot of things. I've traveled a ton. I've been very fortunate, like in my previous job and my current, to see other cities and how they do things and what, makes places special. And I was like, Stockton's super special too. And I don't want to neglect that. So came back and just the opportunities to really now be an adult and live in Stockton and, have money and have a car and be able to like go to do things and experience things has been so awesome. And now like, I feel like I'm doing Stockton for the first time, like not under my parents, guidance or what they want to do. And me and my husband will be eating at these crazy places around town and like bring home leftovers to my parents or something. They're like, where was that place? I'm like, oh, it's here. And she's like, I've never heard of it. And I was like, well, I think the whole being gone for a good chunk of time. I mean, I was gone like almost 14 years and coming back, it was like coming back for the first time and just getting to do all this stuff freshly and being excited about it. So I think that is portrayed in my position here. Like I'm just like super enthusiastic about what people are doing and all these little like small businesses that are popping up and just meeting people and being part of the energy. So I love that part about my job. My family gives me a hard time because I always say this, but I think myself included, that people in Stockton have really big personalities. And I'm very attracted to that as a person and as like in my workspace also. And so just getting to highlight that through the podcast, through the website, whatever, is super fun and cool. So I love that. I love getting to share what excites me about Stockton with other people.
That's awesome. Kind of rediscovering and just kind of shining a light on the awesome things that are here. Yep. Pretty cool. Yep. Pretty cool. Thank you. So in your position, what is the most common question that you're asked and how do you answer it?
Well, gosh, all the time. What is there to do in Stockton? Or we hear the comment, there's nothing to Stockton. And myself and Krista's the one who runs the events calendar. We like get bummed out that we don't have clones of ourselves to do everything that's happening. Like I think people, and I might have said that if you interviewed 17-year-old Amy, the person who grew up here and didn't have like an opportunity to leave and explore and come back and like realize how awesome this place is and all the things that are going on. So yeah, I get that all the time. What is there to do? What is there to do? And they start spitting stuff off to people. They're like, oh, I didn't know you had that. I talked to a lady yesterday who is, she's bringing a 7-year-old to town and was like, is there anything going on Friday that we can do? And I was like, well, actually, did you know there's a underground arcade downtown? Have you been to the children's museum?
Yes.
Have you seen the new Mario movie in downtown, at the movie theater?
Exactly.
Like there's just, and she was like, oh. And she admittedly had grown up in Stockton, or no, she spent a couple years at the time in Stockton. She just didn't know. And so that's what our office is here for, really, is to be this information hub. We did put out our new visitor guide.
Beautiful.
So
I love the picture.
Yep. I know. Yeah. Shameless plug for, look like a YouTuber. You can pick one up in our office or order one online and we'll ship it to your house. But it highlights the neighborhoods. I never want to hear anyone say there's nothing to do in Stockton, because it is not true. They send them my way, Courtney, if you hear something.
Okay.
I'll give them a piece of my mind, yeah, about what there is to do. So
the answer is there's plenty.
there's plenty
to do.
to do. And for all different walks of life too, there's a lot happening. So just enjoy it. Yeah.
So along those lines, in your opinion, what is the number one like must visit or must see attraction in downtown Stockton for a new visitor?
Good question. So I was thinking about this a lot yesterday because I was like, ooh, I better not say the wrong thing. Courtney's going to disconnect my line again. No,
anything downtown is good. Yeah.
And so I bounce everything off my husband all the time. I was like, dude, what is it though? And he said, it's the Bob Hope. And I was like, I think you're right. I think going to a show at the Bob Hope and that's something I definitely did growing up. I went to plenty of concerts and events at the Bob Hope when I was younger. And coming back, like living within like a 5-minute drive of driving to the Bob Hope to go see, I saw Jerry Seinfeld a couple months ago. I was like, this is like a bucket list thing I've wanted to do my whole life. And I got to do that in Stockton. And I don't know if people recognize or realize this, but like some of these traveling artists intentionally are coming to Stockton. It's not like part of a tour. Jerry Seinfeld had a show in New York City, like 2 days before he came to Stockton and one like the day after. Like he came to Stockton to do an event. Like these artists like coming here. It's like this, B-level community or whatever. And the audience is so pumped to be there. Of course it sells out and things like that. So It's just the fact that we have a space like that in Stockton is so amazing. And I also really love going to Ports games at Banner Island. I've been to my fair share of minor league baseball parks. And ours is like,
it's beautiful.
So beautiful. Like being on the water, just having water in your downtown. A lot of people don't realize there's water in Stockton. Which is wild too. When we get the calls, you're like, you're on the water. It's like, yeah, we are.
And
like
it looks
that
awesome.
It's such an asset that we have that. And that ballpark being along the water, like if you can go on a fireworks night and watch the reflection in the water is the best. I love it.
It's beautiful. And the Bob Hope is beautiful. If you haven't been to it, you haven't been inside, just look in the lobby. It's so gorgeous. Like it's gorgeous, there are tours, I think I agree. Those are some really awesome highlights of downtown.
Yes.
So my similar question, what is your go-to downtown lunch spot or a few?
Ooh, this was a good one too. So I will say our office is right by the movie theater.
Yes.
So if you have the benefit of being a restaurant within the block of the movie theater, you're already winning because our office goes a lot. But so we have, which I'm staring at right now at my window. So Siete Mars is a couple months old Mexican restaurant on the corner that took over where Mumu's Cafe is. And it's super good. It's from like a different region of Mexico. Couldn't tell you what it is, but it's from a more coastal region. So the rice is a little different. It's seafood like focused. It's very good. And I also love Yasoyani. I love walking in there and the vibe of all the old photos on the wall and stuff. And I'm obsessed with the lemon soup from Yasoyani. It's one of my favorites. I guess Greek is a theme too. I also get a lot of Kebab House down the street from my office too.
I get that one too. Get the falafels.
It's so good. Yeah. So I do love me a downtown lunch.
Love it.
Probably more than I should. Yeah.
I know. It's good for the businesses though.
Exactly. Yeah. We're stimulating the economy. And then, man, we're going to be moved down into our new office here soon. And I think then we're going to be waterfront warehouse people. We're going to be at Nena's, and I can't think of what it's called at the top of my head, but it's a gal that makes like healthy like
Oh, yes,
meals.
the Shaw Bar
The
across
Shaw
the lake.
Bar.
Yeah.
I went when I had to go stop by the new office for something, and I went in there to check it out, and they're so good. Like a little take home microwave it when you get there. Super good. So, and there's a new ice cream shop in there too, which I have also already stopped at. So, and I got a chocolate dip banana, and it was great. So, good times.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, speaking of your move, can you
Yes.
tell us where is Visit Stockton moving to?
Yes.
Luckily,
So
you're
we are.
staying downtown.
Yes, of course. That was super important to us to stay downtown. This is where the majority of our attractions are. It's where a lot of our partners are. You guys are down here. The city of Stockton is down here. I really wanted to stay downtown. I'm glad we were able to make that happen. So we are moving into probably my favorite building in downtown Stockton. I think I kept harassing our CEO when we would walk by this building. I was like, I think we should be in there. I think we should be in there. And I guess my nagging worked. And so we're moving into the old Sperry Mill building, which is down on Weber. So it is between it's between El Dorado and the Children's Museum on the other side of Weber. So on the south side of Weber from the waterfront warehouse. And so it's right across the street from the future home of the Stockton Historical Maritime Museum. So the patch of open land that's along the water. So it was it was the business operations of a flour mill business from the early 1900s, and it's just beautiful in there. There's like all this funky like stained glass artwork, and the building owner's been working really closely with the historical board, who tells you what you do with building historic commission, I guess, or I can't think of the off the top of my head. But anyway, so there's some new really cool awnings on the building. It's getting repainted where some old signage was, and it's going to be really special. We're very excited to be on the ground floor, so we're easier and more accessible for visitors. And there's the parking's very abundant on that side of town, so it'll be easier for people to pop in and grab things from us and what have you. And we're stoked. I'm very excited to be in there.
Yeah, it's a great location. And just driving by, I was telling Amy before this webinar that it looks beautiful. They have brand new blue awnings on the Sperry building. It's a brick building. It's west on Weber towards the waterfront warehouse. So check it out. It's a great location, easy for visitors to access. So really, really cool. Excited to see you guys moving in there.
Yeah, we're very excited.
So we're almost done with my questions, and then we'll have time for a few of your questions. So how can people get in touch with you, Amy, if they want to, learn anything more about what you've been talking about today?
Yeah, totally. So the easiest way to find us is at visitstockton.org. If you're looking for anything specifically to Flavorfest, stocktonflavorfest.com. Our Facebook is a huge hub of information. So at Visit Stockton, same as the Instagram at Visit Stockton. Our Facebook is definitely geared towards more blogs and content. Instagram is more like sharing of events that are happening and sharing our, partners' content and things like that. And this is stockton.com if you want to, hear more of me gabbing on the radio or on the airwaves and learning about the people of Stockton and just the cool things that we promote and the things that we're excited about. And if you want to reach out to me personally for anything, if you have any specific questions about things I talked about today, my email is amy@visitstockton.org.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes,
and is there anything else that you would like people to know about Visit Stockton or the work that you do?
I think just, the friendly reminder that we're all here promoting Stockton to be good advocates and trying to be the best champions that we can for this community. So I think sometimes the people of Stockton can be their own worst enemies. Sometimes we're not very nice to each other and to businesses and to some of the work that's happening. It's easy to be online and be negative. And I'm very grateful of all the champions online and elsewhere that are reminding people of the good and giving, and I keep saying this, but it's just this more holistic picture of what's happening in Stockton. It's easy to get bogged down about something that you think is negative or could be done differently or what have you. But take the time to remind people of like, and celebrate the little things and celebrate the being excited of discovering something new, of giving someone a kudos, of sharing about a new business you went to, etc. Because I think really this whole like rising tides breeds all shifts about the image and the reputation and just like the general feel good of Stockton. We could all do I would love to see us all do a little more to help raise each other up in that way.
Be positive. Yeah. Highlight what's good here, what's going on. That's
Yep.
awesome. We've had
Yep.
so many great businesses, so many great people, artists, organizations. So I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy, for answering all of my questions. And
Yes,
now,
absolutely.
are you ready to dive into some viewer questions?
Sure. If there's any, I will take them.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Shining Star Pop-Up Events. They're
Okay.
asking, how do we go about being part of the podcast? I would love to be on there to speak about the events I host at the Plaza downtown.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You can send me an email, Amy at visitstockton.org, or you can send us a message on Instagram at This is Stockton Podcast. And we can check it out and see if it's a good fit for sure.
All right, thank you so much for your question, Shining Star Pop-Up Events. Okay, now we have a question here from Al on Instagram. The question is, what age range is Flavorfest for? Is there anything for teens?
Totally. Flavorfest, we say it's for everyone. So all of the music at the festival, the main stage music specifically, is all ages. It is everything from pop to mariachi to bluegrass to country, like a little bit of everything. The cultural performances are great for families to experience. We have an arts workshop area that was huge for teens last year. We had kids making their own like terrariums. We did paint pouring workshops. We're going to have different like canvas bag creations and stuff this year, which is really cool. If your teen is into cooking, the cooking demo stage will be really cool to kind of, learn about different styles of cooking and hear from some of the chefs and whatnot in the community. And then for younger kids as well, we have and families, for kids at heart, if you will. We have a whole kids like activity zone. So it's like life size checkers and these big bubble making machines and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff, but really I think the teens would probably be the most interested in the music. The music is awesome. So they'll dig that. I'm working on a Spotify playlist right now. Once I get that
Nice.
up, I'll put it on the website, and so then the teens can listen
Get
to
a
it
taste.
beforehand and be like, "Oh, I already knew this song." So you can have a
Very
humble.
cool.
There you go. Yeah.
And this is triggering a question for me.
Yeah.
So, what are the prices for tickets, and is there a
Yes.
different rate for children?
So right now, it's $5 tickets for Friday. For Saturday and Sunday, if you order them now, so they're on pre-sale, they're $8. And it's $5 for teenagers, and it's free for kids 12 and under. And then
Awesome.
once we get to the week before the festival, the Saturday, Sunday ticket prices go up to $10 for adults. So yeah, your whole family can come in for like
$50 maybe.
Yeah.
This is
Barely.
amazing.
So, so $5 for teenagers, free for kids, $8 or $10 for adults.
Thank you. Yeah, those are great prices. Okay, and thank you, Al, for your question. We've got a question now from John Carlson on Instagram. He's asking, will any celebrity chefs such as Guy Fieri be at Flavorfest?
Ooh, no Guy Fieri's at Flavorfest this year. However, we encourage people to wear their flame shirts and their white hair and visors. If you want to mill around the festival for some photo opportunities, you're welcome to do that. But we will have a couple different chefs who we could consider celebrity chefs around Stockton coming to do some stuff. And one of the chef groups that we're really excited about is some of our friends from the Stockton Community Kitchen, which is downtown. So we'll have a couple of vendors from there who are going to be cooking up some stuff and highlighting some of their global skills, which will be really cool. Maybe one day, John Carlson, if you can tag Guy Fieri, maybe he'll want to come out and be a part
Invite
of
him. Yeah.
Let's invite him. Exactly.
But in the meantime, we've got local chefs. Sounds great.
That's right.
Thank you, John. Okay, now we've got two questions here from Sean Chatrath. First one, love what you're doing with the Visit Stockton podcast. In addition to having local Stockton guests, will you guys do episodes covering historic places and stories in the city?
So we've thought about that, like doing investigative kind of stories about
Mhm.
Stockton. So we've really left that to Anthony for these pop culture moments that we talk about. Like he did a segment one time, and those segments are typically around like 3 to 5-ish minutes. So he's done one about the Bob Hope Theater, the history of the Bob Hope, the history of Banner Island Ballpark. He's working on one right now. I know about the story about like under the freeway and the AAPI groups that were, impacted by the
Displaced.
crosstown and
Yeah.
things like that. So we touch on that, but I don't know if we'll ever be like a full blown investigative, like 30 minutes of storytelling. But who's to say? We might. You never know. That's the beauty of having your own podcast. You can kind of do whatever you want.
That's
So,
true, right?
if you have a topic you're dying to know, let us know. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sean. And this is Sean's second question. It's going to be: does the World's Showcase in Disney World and or 20th century World's Fairs, such as the 1964 New York World's Fair, serve as inspiration for Flavorfest?
Oh, interesting. I started reading this. I was like, what the heck is this guy talking about? I maybe subconsciously, I would say that Flavorfest is really a reflection of what we have as these assets to highlight in our city. So when I was first, thinking about coming back to Stockton, that's when we got this US news report that said Stockton was the most diverse city in America. And
Right.
that like stuck out to me. Yeah. So that was a report that came out in 2020, just meaning
Yeah.
like we literally have people from all walks of life and from all regions of the world living here.
Yes.
So that is awesome. Like some people or groups might stress them out or whatever, but not us. We were like, okay, this is super special. How do we highlight that? And how are we something that is more than a typical like cultural festival celebrating one culture or what have you? Um, Fortunately for myself, I love going to festivals personally. So I have been to stuff all across the nation. And I was pretty involved in a festival that happened in Idaho. So the Tree Fort Music Festival. So I took a lot of inspiration from what they did at Tree Fort. So when I worked for the state of Idaho, I helped do a lot of the culinary PR stuff for that festival,
Hmm.
and we were a big sponsor. So I was just involved in a lot of things over my time there. And that festival just celebrated its 12th year, or no, it's been many a years. No, 10, 10 or 11, I think. COVID, kind of screwed
That's
things up
true.
in my mind.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's a
so
time
then,
warp.
and then when I was deciding to move to Stockton, I was like, man, why can't I have a Tree Fort Music Festival here? Like what?
Right.
And then it was like, well, shoot, why not? So we started plugging away on it. So it's just trying to find all the things from these cultures in town to highlight. So, the food, the music, just the fun, the art. We had so much live art and all these cool art workshops and things last year. And that was something that there was a lot of like live mural painting at Tree Fort Music Festival. And I was like, that was one of the coolest things I remember experiencing is like watching an artist do their work. So why not do it in Stockton? And I was just really confident that the community of Stockton would embrace it and be excited about it. And it worked out. Best new festival. So it's something worked
Yay.
out right about it. So we were
It's gone well. Success.
exactly. So I don't know necessarily about Disney's anything Disney related, but maybe subconsciously, I do love watching some Disney documentaries and stuff. So it might be in there somewhere. But really, I think it's just from being an early 30 something who's gone to festivals her whole life and really wanted to see something like that happen in the place she is choosing to live and highlight what makes Stockton cool, because you got to make it authentic, right? I can't create a Tree Fort Music Festival in Stockton because it's not.
Right.
Tree Fort is
Not
authentic
the
to
same.
Boise, Idaho. So what's authentic to Stockton? And we were very, very pleased with how everything has worked out. So
Flavorfest. Yeah. And it takes
right.
advantage of the beautiful venues that we have available. Waterfront
Absolutely.
venue. How could it get better?
Yep, exactly.
So thanks, Sean, for your question. And now we just have two comments. So
Okay.
this is from Ashwin Lal saying awesome. So
Thank you.
thank you for your comment. And another comment here from Johnny Palacios. He says he's seen the Flavorfest banner is going up outside of Weber Point. Very nice. Yeah,
Awesome.
getting
Yes.
ready. The prep's
Okay.
coming.
Yes, it's building. So you'll be seeing a lot more about Flavorfest coming up in the next couple weeks. And if you're interested, we will be out. Our office will be out at the Asparagus Festival all weekend this weekend, talking about stuff happening at, talking about Marvel, about Flavorfest, et cetera, et cetera. So event season is here in the area. We're
It is.
excited.
The weather's warming up. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you, Johnny, for your comment. And it looks like those were all of the comments and
Great.
questions today. So thank you if you did type a comment or question in. And now I would just like to again remind everyone that this video has been streaming live to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where we are at Downtown Stockton. It has also been streaming live to Twitter, where we are at Downtown STKN. So please follow us and like this video, share it so that people can know what great things are going on in downtown Stockton and in Stockton in general. And Amy, is there anything you'd like to say in closing? Any last comments that you'd like to share?
No, I'm just excited. If you guys, if I see you at Flavorfest, please say what's up to me. So tell me that
Yeah.
you heard about it from the Talk to Downtown. That's really cool. It's always fun when someone like saw you somewhere. Someone or last year after Flavorfest was like, "Did I see you on the news?" I was like, "Oh my god,
You're like, maybe.
yes."
Maybe.
So I haven't gotten over that, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, just come out, go check out all the events happening on our website. Like Stockton is just, we're brimming with events, especially right now, especially before
Yes.
it's too hot. Just go get it in right now. It's great. The weather's great. Go start exploring and having fun. So thank you very much, Courtney, for having me.
Yes. So thanks everyone for tuning in. And thank you so much, Amy, for being our guest. We learned a lot about what Visit Stockton has going on. You guys are busy. Thanks for all the work that you guys do for our community, promoting it. And with that, I would just like to say, have a great day downtown.